I think it's time for us to talk about the subject of tonight, jumping in to the Tam talk. Agreed? And that is making the most out of your pre-release. How do we get the most out of our pre-release? I'm gonna turn my music down just a little bit. Pre-release is happening this weekend, starting tomorrow at midnight, or tonight at midnight, or whatever. 10:14. Yes, I am filming this video on the 13th or some shit. Right? Today's the 13th. Double checking. Yeah, today's the 13th. I'm filming this video. It's a little late. I promise it'll be up on YouTube as soon as the stream is over. I'll get this video up. But Heroes Clash is coming out, and we've only had 2 pre-releases before, and honestly, a lot of people have not been here for My Hero collectible card game pre-releases. They've not been here to see the correct, proper way to play the game. And so what I want to do is I want to talk about can I come back over here? I want to talk about getting the most out of your pre-release. So let's talk about it. So there are 3 main ways that I see to play this pre-release weekend. You've got draft play, you've got sealed play, and you've got starter deck play. Number 1 is draft play. With draft play, you get a bunch of packs, and then you draft them, and then you play. You get to play with kind of everybody's packs. You've got sealed play, which is you take your own packs and you play with them. And you have starter deck play, which we'll talk about, because I don't think starter decks out at the same time. Chat, help me. Are starter decks out at the same time as everything else? Can I go pick up 4 starter decks tomorrow? Is that true? Can I do that? That's important to know. I want to know. But I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about them all. Starting with what I think the hardest way is how to draft. I don't know why this is blank. Why is this blank? Oh, apparently I added it. That might be the one animation for the whole slideshow. Hold on. Let's actually go back. How to draft. So there are 2 main ways that you can draft. There are 2 main ways. Number 1 is to rare draft, where you take your packs and you open up your first pack, and then you take the shiny card and you put it down in front of you without reading it. You close the pack and you ship it on. Or you have your normal draft, which is you take your pack, and ignoring the shiny card, you look at which card is the best card. You take that card and then you pass it on. This is going to be an educational / opinionated piece. My personal opinion is I personally believe that rare drafting is for lamos. I get that rare drafting happens. I get that rare drafting is important for people. I pull an ultra rare. I just have to snag it. I think that for the health of your pre-release, I think for the health of like you having fun, I think that normal drafts are just the way to go. You win more packs at the end, and yada, yada, yada. You at home, you don't have to agree with me, but that's just, I'm throwing out my opinion up there. Chat, I'd love to know what you guys think. But some of us are going, Tam, you said the word draft. You said the word draft, and I don't know what that means. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you, and I'm going to take you through how drafts are, right? How drafts work. The thing that you do is you get to open your 5 packs, 6 packs, 8 packs, whatever your local says that to do. And you get 5 of them, and you're gonna open them 1 pack at a time. So you're gonna take you got a stack of 5, boom, stacked. I'm gonna take the first one off the top, open it along with everybody else who opens up their packs in your 4 to 8 man pod, and you're gonna spread your cards out and look at all 10 cards, and you're gonna pick your favorite card, the one that you want to play with. You're gonna pick it out. You're gonna place it face down on the table. From there, you're gonna take your hand, the 9 remaining cards, and you're gonna shuffle them up, and you're gonna place them to your left. The person who's on your right is going to do the exact same thing, and they're going to give you a 9-card pack. A 9-card pack. They've taken their card out, and now I have 9. So I take a 9. I pick the 9 cards up. I will then fan them out and go, oh, I like this one. And I will pick this one out and place it down, shuffle it up, take the 8 cards, and pass it to the person on the left. And this is going to happen until you have successfully picked 10 cards your the one rotation of drafting that you get. And I did put on this last point, don't get ahead. One of the easiest ways to ruin a draft, to make a draft not fun for literally everybody involved, is to pick up the wrong pack, or take accidentally leave a card, or whatever, and have not everything fish out exactly the same. If you have somebody who is being speedy, and you have asked them to slow down, here's what you do. It's simple. We all have dice. If they take and they place a pack next to you, take the number 1 die and place it on that pack so that you can see the number 1. When they take and they place the next one down, there's the number 2 die. The other thing that you can do is count the cards, but without looking at them. Count the cards and be like, hey, there's supposed to be 8 cards in this pack and there's only 7. You pause the table and you make sure that you know what's going on. Make sure that the process of picking the correct card is as important as the process of making sure that the packs go in the correct order so that it is as fair as possible. Okay, so this is the how-to draft, right? Now I want to talk about what should you be drafting, right? This is not Magic. This is not Pokemon. This is... Do you draft in Yu-Gi-Oh? Is it possible to draft in Yu-Gi-Oh? It's probably fine to draft in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Right? Anyhow, let's talk about what do I need to do. When you draft, you need to draft attack heavy. Now, when it comes to universes, right? As we make our decks, we normally play roughly a third attacks to 2/3 not attacks. That's our ratios. In draft, in sealed, in non-constructed formats, you should be attack heavy. You should want more attacks because the quality of the attacks that you play are not going to tactically and synergistically work together. Your strategy will be broken because you are picking random cards out of a pack. You do not get to just pick your stuff. Imagine, close your eyes, think about how good, what's the grenade card called? What's the grenade card? Chat, help me. Imagine how good, not grenade abrasers. What is this card called? I have to look it up. Stun grenade. Thank you so much, Matt Plays. Think about how good stun grenade is, right? It's a stun card that gets bigger stun, that finds you a fury, but it's a 4 for 4. If you don't have any other furies in your deck, it's a 4 for 4 stun 1 ultra rare. That sucks. That sucks. So realize that your attack quality is going to be very low. So you need to play more attacks to try and chew through your opponent. The second big thing is spams are king. You're going to have a lot of really cool attacks. You're going to have some really cool foundations, but a lot of them are going to be 2s because the 2 diffs, the 3 diffs, they do a lot of cool stuff. You need to make sure that you've got 1s and 0s in your board in order to make sure that you can play out your heavy attack string, as well as the more attacks you put in your deck, the lower your average check is going to be. And the lower your average check is going to be, the more valuable being able to build out a healthy stage. Number 3, blocks are king. You have to make sure that your block zones are relevant. Understand what the commons and uncommon attack zones are. I know that we have made a lot of jokes that the set is mostly mid, right? But that is the case for a lot of the ultra rares. But is that the same case for a lot of the commons and uncommons, right? Do a little research. You have UVS Ultra.online. Do a little research. Hey, what could I possibly be seeing? As well as, you technically get to know what's inside of the pods, right? You open up your packs and you see that there's a bunch of low attacks. You should be taking more low blocks as you take those low attacks, right? It is strategically to your advantage to know what's going on inside of these packs. And my very last thing is tactics and techniques are king. When it comes to pulling out, making choices, an individual card and its weight is worth more than what do these 20 cards work together. And when it comes to techniques, I'm talking like 2-card combinations. When I combine this one card and this other card, right? When I combine Wind Up Punch and One with Nature, I get an amazing card. It is okay to want to pull those cards together, but if I just pulled the One with Nature, that's a really, really good technique. It's a really good singleton card, and so like I feel fine taking that even if I don't necessarily get the other technique to make it a tactic, So think about, what do my cards do individually? What do they do all by their lonesome? The last thing the next thing I want to talk about, I don't necessarily know if it's the last thing. The next thing I want to talk about is character cards. So there's a couple different ways to talk about character cards. And the first idea is you can pick your character card last, right after you're done drafting, or you can pick your character card first, right? You take it like, oh, I know that I want to play as Shigaraki 2 Dot. I know that, right? That's how I'm going to draft, right? The other way to do it is to randomly pass out 3 of each character card. If you have not gone to a major that Nick Reagan is at, big shout out to Nick Reagan, he has a draft cube of everything that Jasco's ever printed. One of the most fun things that you can do at an event is play in this cube. It's so unbelievably fun. It's got My Hero cards, it's got Street Fighter cards, it's got King of Fighters cards. If you have a chance to sit down and draft with Nick, you should. You should. A beautiful walk down memory lane. You get to read a bunch of cards and be like, oh shit, these are so cool. Very, very cool stuff. But the way that works is you randomly pass out 3 of each control character. E3 of each control character. E3 of each character card in order to do it. We only have, including the starter decks, I think 10 characters in the set, which means that this number 3 doesn't work. You have to go something lower. Giving everybody 2 of each card, or letting people be able to play things like Recovery Girl and Death Arms, right? Putting those into the thing. It's tough to do this with Smash Might because, there are no Smash cards, and so his ability is blank for the most part, right? Still flip a foundation for +2 speed or +2 damage is very good on your Punch of Furies, but like it's very easy to accidentally to not have a playable character. And then the last way to do it, honestly, is just draft character cards. Take and have like 2 of each character card exist inside of your pools, and then start passing them around, and people get them randomly. It's possible to do. You can also take and do this with old characters from the old set, right? You can take all the characters from set 1 and just draft with set 3 cards in order to play the game if you wanted to, right? There's 18 plus characters in set 1, so it's way easier to randomly figure out how to do these do the characters. The last thing that I have to say about drafting, and I'm pretty sure this is the last thing, is symbol chaining. If you're taking a look at any My Hero card, over on the side there are 3 symbols that dictate your deck building. When it comes to pre-release, here, I don't know how Jasco is officially doing it. I don't have any paperwork, but here is the way that I feel that it should happen. If you are to do full symbol training where your deck has to have entirely 1 symbol in it, I think it's impossible. I think it's actually impossible to do. If your TO suggests you do this, I actually don't think you should play. I think you should take your packs and run. You will not have a good time. If you do light symbol chaining, to where the fact of if you are playing a character and they have 3 symbols on them, you can include any card in your deck that has at least 1 of these 3 symbols. It is a little harder. It's a little tougher to pull off, but you can make a legal 40 card deck out of this. And the last way, and the way that I suggest that you do this, is to not symbol chain at all. If you have the card in your hand, you can physically play it. This includes any card, actions, assets, attacks, foundations, and characters. I think if you can shake your TOs down and be like, yo, homie, it is not going to ruin the game if we do not symbol chain for these events. Not symbol chaining, I think, is a really important thing to do, specifically because you are going to have new people playing at the tournament and looking at your opponent being like, actually, that card's not allowed to be in your deck, is a lame feeling. It's a bad feeling to have. You should 100% just let people play with the cards that they opened. Understand? You should just let them do that. If they see the cool shiny card, if they have the card with their favorite character on it, they should be able to play with it. It also says that when you pivot, it's harder to pivot, right? The more experienced players that you have, the more deck building constrictions you can put on yourselves, right? I think for this event, you should 100% not symbol chain. Don't symbol chain. I repeat it for the 100th time. Don't symbol chain. It will save your event. It will save your enjoyment. Now let's talk about sealed. So pretty much everything that I have to say about draft is the same in sealed. Your ratios matter just exactly the same. You need to be more attack heavy, right? And it's way harder to symbol chain in sealed because you don't get to tailor your deck the way that you want it to be, right? Oh, I don't have an option of 6 cards to pick the symbols that I'm going for. I'll pick this one. It's if you open up a pack and you have no life cards in your pack, then and your character has a life symbol, then that's a third of the cards gone, right? So once again, get rid of symbol chaining. You don't need it. You don't need it to have fun. And then lastly, because you're not drafting, right? When you build your deck, you need to go into the deck building phase with any character that you could possibly play in mind. You could go with any character in mind. And so like there's something to be said about like having a little prior knowledge of like, oh man, my deck as Shigaraki is really good. Oh, look at the different attack zones that I have. My Otro is going to be nuts, right? And so there's something to be said about how do I don't have any weapon cards. I can't play Stain. I have all these weapon cards. I can play Stain. You kind of have to know what characters you have available to you when you go into this kind of a sealed thing, because it dictates how you build your deck, as well as how other people should build your deck for you if you are indeed new. And then the last way that I want to do this is actually with starter decks. I think that starter deck play is really cool, and I think it is the #1 new player friendly way to introduce the game. You evenly pass out all the starter decks. You let the new people pick, do you want Eraserhead or do you want Endeavor, and you pass them all out. And the first round that you play, you just play with the starter decks. You just play. And then every round that you can, right, that the TO is down, you give everybody a pack, and you let them infuse the pack with the cards that they want to play, right? But here's the deal. You say that you have a 50-card deck, right, as the starter deck. If you want to take and you want to play one of the cool attacks, in order to teach people how to keep their ratios correct, you tell them to take one of the attacks out of the starter deck and put one of the cards from the pack in the deck. Once again, you can play any card that you want. Any card that you open, you're allowed to play with, right? And so you tell them that, like, the general rule is that if you open up an action, right, you take out an attack, you put in or you take out a foundation, you put in the action. If you want to play an asset, right, that you open, you take out a foundation, you put in the asset, right? Attacks become attacks, non-attacks become whatever else, right? And you remind them, hey, look at your block zones, make sure that you don't mess up this thing. And now you get to take, and everybody starts on an even playing field. And as the tournament goes and expands, everybody's decks start really changing and adapting and evolving. We all know when a starter deck product comes out that one side of the starter deck is better than the other side. I don't know which it is, right? But the Bakugo starter deck is just inherently better than the Midoriya one. We can all agree with this. The cards that are inside of the Bakugo starter deck are just better. If you had a tournament with everybody being the exact even, with luck out of it, Bakugo's going to win every time. But as soon as you start changing up how the deck works and you start taking cards out and putting cards in, now the deck starts to come in. What happens whenever somebody opens up a Texas Smashes Midoriya? That's awesome, right? And so you could take these starter decks and infuse them with new life as you put new packs in. And maybe these packs that get added are the participation prizes that you were going to get anyways, right? You pay for the starter deck, and you pay for the tournament itself, and the tournament is just infusing the prize support in there. Look at that. And the last thing that you get to do, and this is the cool thing, since I did include the words play any card, What happens if I open up a character? Yeah. Let's slam. Yo, I'm playing the Eraserhead deck and I open up a Stain. There's no reason I can't play Stain for rounds 2 and 3 of the tournament. Let me play Stain. That sounds super, super fun. That sounds super, super cool. Once again, they should be able to play any card they want. They don't have to symbol chain, and it just makes the tournament more exciting and more open and available for new players. And here's the last thing that I'll say. If you don't do a starter deck tournament, okay, if you don't do a starter deck tournament, let me tell you how to have a safety net for your tournament. The easiest thing to do is to use the demo decks that hopefully every single store has. The 30-card Bakugo, the 30-card Midoriya starter decks. You should, if you have a new player, every single person should leave with those demo decks. Because it does two things. Number one, it helps them keep their ratios correct. To help them keep their ratios nice and big, right? There's a lot of attacks in those decks. There's not as many foundations. Just for every one attack that you put in 2 foundations, and you should be fine to get up to your 40, right? As well as they get to leave with a full deck. If you take and you have your 6-pack sealed, right? Where we are not symbol chaining whatsoever. You get to open up your 6-packs and you get to keep them. These are all my cards. And you tell somebody, hey, come back next week. We're playing in a tournament. They look at their pile of the 6-packs and go, this is not 50 cards with the same symbol. I cannot play a legal deck. If you make them leave with a demo deck, one of the Midoriya or Bakugo demo decks that they now have 30 cards and a character card, not to mention whatever they open up in their packs, that they could potentially have to come back next week and play. This is a chance for them to actually come in, and the draft, the seal that they did, instantly gets to let them come next week and play. Are they going to win? No, but they are legally allowed to play with everybody else, and I think that that's super important. I think that's really, really important in order to have people leaving feeling good about the decision that they made to spend their Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights. I think that's really important. So my final thoughts. My Hero, Universes, UFS, has never been designed to be played sealed, has never been designed to play draft. It is a bad experience. If you take and you make it bad. Drafting is some of the most fun I've ever had in this card game. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. When you go to Nationals and you see Nick Reagan, look at him and go, can I cube draft with you? He will say yes, find me 6 more people, because obviously he's going to cube draft himself. Some of the most fun that you can have. Drafting can be fun, but it is very easy to go hardcore gamer mode and start symbol chaining hard, not letting your opponent play with your people play with the cards they opened or they played with. And it gets real rough. It gets real not fun. So with that said, fun should be king. Make sure that you go and you have a good time. Make sure that everybody else goes and has a good time. And it's your job to as members of the community to make sure that the new kids have fun. Make sure that the people come in and they have a chance to play the cool cards that they opened. It's very easy to be a gatekeeper. It's just not our look. It's just not what our community does. So do your part. Do your part this weekend as we gear up for one of the most competitive seasons of the My Hero Academia collectible card game, and onboard as many new people as you can. With that said, you guys, maybe I said some crazy stuff. Maybe you disagree with completely everything that I said. Let me know down in the comments down below this YouTube video. It would be very, very cool to see your guys' opinion, and let me know how did your release weekends go. I would love to know that as well. And all of these thoughts, they don't just apply for set 3 Heroes Clash. They apply for every set from now on until the end of time. So please, thank you much for watching, you guys, and I wish you well.